What's going on, guys? We're going to look at a couple of areas here on NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is in a little bit of an awkward spot, right? We're trading below yesterday's highs. We're trading below the previous day's highs. We're kind of, pulling back a little bit into support this morning. Today is the 6th. To this morning, we did have a nice kind of washout, and there's a couple of levels that we want to kind of look at here. So there was a great opportunity this morning to kind of take the reclaim, right? If you notice, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. If you notice on today's price action here on NVIDIA, okay, I've got a few levels that we need to keep in mind. So this green line that's going across the screen, this is your daily 5 SMA, this is your daily 50, and then this is your daily 10. So if you kind of notice where we were trading at in the pre-market, we were down here below this daily 50 SMA. Now, one thing you never want to really do is kind of short into the hole, okay? What you would realistically like to see would be some type of bounce, right? Some type of bounce and rejection, and then a loss of that new low or whatever it is. Because a lot of times, again, I'm not saying that there wasn't money and opportunity to be made here short on NVIDIA. There was just a little bit more potential if you wait for some type of back test and then you wait for a confirmation through the lows. And typically that's going to be, after the first hour, the initial balance is set, and, you see that continuation down after the bounce. The better play for me would have been the reclaim, okay? The reclaim of the 50 SMA. So once you got this washout, because you can see in the pre-market, we kind of sold off pretty heavily. Anyone who was short going into yesterday's price action did fantastic, right? I mean, this was a beautiful sell into the opening short and kind of lock in those profits. Anyone who kind of got short maybe somewhere in here off the open, unless you were looking for a quick scalp, realistically you got trapped. Okay, so when I say the better opportunity here was looking for that reclaim, was once you closed back over 111.68, right? Once you got that closed back over 111.68, the better opportunity here was to kind of, give yourself about a buck and a quarter risk, meaning using the low as your stop and then kind of getting in once you confirm this range here, okay? That's getting back over your bias here of the 20 SMA, and then you can kind of start to target way up here, right? Start to target a previous swing high from pre-market, okay? And if you see, an entry price getting in right here I'll give you guys the exact price, getting in over about 112s, we shot all the way up to, about 113 and a quarter, 113.15. So there was about $1 worth of room here before we started to pull back. This gave you about a 45 minute trade hold time here, where you can make about a buck on the stock. And if you guys are playing options, you go into this, you make $1 trading 10 options contracts, that's really good money, right? It's not every day you're going to catch those 4, 5, 6 point runners on NVIDIA. In a market where you're kind of trading in a channel like this, and if I zoom all the way out and go to like an hourly view, if you're trading in a channel like this, right? Look at NVIDIA's channel for the previous 3 days. Once we had this big explosion here last Wednesday, getting into this channel over 109, you're in a pretty big channel, about a 6 point range here between 109, 110 to 115. We've been trading in this channel going sideways, right? This market's really not pushing NVIDIA higher. It's not really pushing NVIDIA lower, okay? Is NVIDIA moving up and down? Sure. But is it moving lower? Absolutely not. Is NVIDIA moving higher? Absolutely not. So when you're in the middle of a channel like this, one thing you have to really understand is that you want to kind of play the upper and lower extremes, okay? So the upper and lower extremes, you want to be selling at the upper extremes back down to the middle of the range. You want to be buying the lower portion of these extremes back into the middle of the range until one of these ranges, okay, really breaks out to the downside or it breaks out to the upside. Then and only then you're going to look for that continuation, okay? And if you don't get that breakout through the channel, right, which for NVIDIA in this particular case, that would be a closure below 109 and then see some type of break and retest, then you could start targeting maybe prices of 106 until you get a breakout over 115 and then you get a back test and hold. Then and only then maybe you can start targeting upper levels, okay? So until that happens, you're going to have to be a little bit cautious here. Now, if we're looking at this hourly view here, NVIDIA is setting up a little bit of a flag pattern where you can kind of see if we do get over the day's highs, it definitely has room to kind of stretch into yesterday's highs at around 114. Again, is it a lot of room into this? No. Keep in mind that anytime you're going long into supply, you want to make sure that you're locking in profits before you get to that upper supply. There are scenarios and situations where you do just explode through a previous day's channel, but a lot of times you're going to get that test into this range and then it's going to pull back. And the last thing I want to see happen to anyone is you're locking in profits here. You're up 50 cents, up 75 cents, up $1, and then it pulls back to break even, right? So just make sure until we get out of this channel, if you are going to decide to go long, you are taking profits into supply, okay? Lock in your gains. And then until you continue over that previous supply, then and only then you can target the next area of supply, which is going to be up here towards 115, 116. Hope you guys got a little bit of value out of this video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see all of you guys on the next one.